Hello. Let's have a look. I did that bit there that I needed to do the last time we spoke, and I've been around and just licked everything over again with the wire wheel. This time you could kind of just get a good sweep going like that, and it was just taking it off because it was such a light surface rust. It wasn't like the heavy stuff before. You can see here there are some dents, but I think there's a join here, and you can see heavy filing marks from the production line. Wherever there's a joint you can see these heavy filing marks, but I can't see any lead, so I don't know. And you can see them here as well. Can't really see them. Yeah, there, see there. You can see where, you know, a production line worker has filed that, because there's a massive seam here. And if you ever see the production line films, the process for doing that is phenomenal. You know, these great big things where they get this panel and this panel and they push them together like a massive sort of instantaneous arc butt weld. The thing that's bothering me is I'm not up with the modern paints, so I need to find a paint that I can put on there that can seal it and stop any of the residual rust from coming back through again. And I'm stuck for what to do with this, because I can see rust down there. So I think I need to take these gutters off. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I've cleaned up all this roof area all the way along here, and all round actually, 360 degrees. And the thing that's bothering me, that has been bothering me, but isn't bothering me so much now, is this gutter. The gutter had sort of come away from the roof a little bit, and there was rust down in between the two pieces. I looked at maybe taking the gutter off, but I realised I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I have done my very best to treat it. I took this chisel, good old, you know, abusive woodworking tools, and I hammered that in and just spread the top of the gap a little bit wider all the way along. And then I took my grinding wheel, this one, the thin one, and just went down and just nibbled away at the surface in there to try and just take the rust off it. I also used this little thing, which was pretty ineffectual, but it did help on the tighter bits at the end. I tried this thing, which is a spot shot blaster, but it was useless. Complete waste of time. So I got this the best that I can, and I've gone along and brushed some Genolite onto it to stabilise the last little bits of remaining rust. Whether it does or not, I don't know, but all I can do is try. When this is dry, I'll go along and put some 2-pack epoxy etch primer into it, and then what I'll probably do is put some brushable seam sealer in, and while that is still wet, while that's still pliable, I'll take my mallet and bump it back, you know, close it up. That's what I think I'm going to do anyway. I'll bring it back when there's more to show. I've had to go at these dents. I can't do them very well because there's the 3. Hang on, where are we? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. These are a bit awkward because there's a bracket just there. There's a bracket there, so I couldn't really get on that one. The other ones are here, and I've got those out as well a little bit. I could see the first one, which was here, so I did get that one out okay there. I couldn't really see. Oh, can you see there? Look, that's the seam where this roof is welded to that roof. So I was, because that sticks down, I was raising that. So I stopped on that one. I thought, okay, don't go too mad. And then I couldn't really see where I was hitting on this one. So I was having difficulty trying to raise that up. But generally, when you feel this whole area is a little bit low, this whole area here is a little bit low. Might mean that that part there is high. But you know, for 92 years old, it's not bad, is it? I tried a little bit of this stuff there, and then I sanded it off. I don't know if it helps. Might help, mightn't it? I don't know. I was thinking, you know, it wouldn't hurt to just go over the whole surface with it. Alright, okay. I'm not much of a panel beater, so I'm not going to try. I'm not going to risk making it worse. Hello. Jeff came round and has been helping me. When I say helping me, he's been doing the work and I've been doing kind of peripheral jobs. I've just used this old shower curtain to mask off the centre of the roof area. This area that I prepared yesterday with the Jenner light, Jeff's come along and mixed up some epoxy etch primer and brushed that in. I'm going to load this with seam sealer, like imagine like load, and then tap this in, wipe it off, load, tap it in, wipe it off, and work my way along. Okay, so yeah, so hopefully that will put us another step forward, and then you can see we've done a bit of a test piece here. We can get this area prepared and get a coat of paint on this area here because it's flash rusting overnight here, so I want to get it sealed and protected. Take care then, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye. I've been working my way along this gutter, this drip rail. I've put brushable seam sealant all the way along the seam, all the way, and then I used this hammer on there like that, and then hit it with this mallet. So I went bang all the way along and bent the gutter back up into, you know, into contact with the roof, and that's about as good as I can get it. Haven't done the other side. I'm going to do that now. So I'll show you what it looks like before. You can see there's quite a big gap. So I'm going to do this side now, and hopefully it will kind of seal it all, you know, stop any water going down in between. Yeah, it's not looking too bad, not looking too bad. Okay, I won't waste time then. I'll get cracking on the other side. If I can't do it now, I'm going to have to do it tomorrow. But yeah, it's not looking too bad. Okay, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Jeff's here. We hope we're just in a position to put a little bit of spray on the uppermost part of the roof. We've sanded it all down. masked it off, and going to just put a coat of etch primer on. Okay, so I'm going to put my mask on now, and we're going to give it a go. Right, so here we go. None of us are professionals. I'm going to put my mask on now, so I'll keep filming, but I'll put my mask on. Oh yeah, wow. Don't forget the micro flick.
Good in it now.
You what?
Good in it.
Yeah, excellent. That's kind of brown, isn't it?
It's brown.
Yeah, well the car's brown.
Khaki. Khaki, I mean.
Bigs and Bullows. I think I've got one of them, Jeff.
Yeah.
Might as well go and stand outside for a minute.
Yeah. I'm going to drive while we're watching otherwise.
Yeah. So there we are. First coat of paint on the 32. Just a little bit of etch primer. So thanks, Jeff. Let's let that all settle out and let the dust settle. Okay, back in a bit. Looks all right. Looks good actually. Obviously, I'm concerned. You know, I don't want the rust to come back through. There's a little bit here that looks a bit weird, but I was hammering and dollying there earlier. But we have flatted it, so I don't know why it's kind of done that. But now it's looking really good. Amazing. This, I was saying to Jeff, this body's in fantastic condition for the. When you see the you know, state of some of them. Okay, I'm getting there. Might need to come up here, Jeff, and like
Underneath, yeah, I put a little
Yeah.
bit underneath, but not a great deal, yeah.
No.
Come further down, that's, yeah.
it's almost like you need to be inside spraying outwards to get it up round behind the rim.
It'll go up under there, all right.
Yeah, I was just saying, once the gloss has gone off, you'll put a little bit more on. Okay, back in a bit. Hello, it's the next day. I've come out to have a look at the car. Made a real bad boo-boo yesterday. If I'll show you. Ooh. Up here, there's an area that doesn't look right here. And it's where I was knocking a dent out. And I used a marker pen to give me like a contrast to try and see where I'm hitting. There must have been some marker pen still remaining on the metal. So I'm going to sand this out and try and, I don't know, wash it with a bit of thinners or something. To be honest, everything feels pretty good, to be honest. There's the odd little drip. This hasn't come out very well. There's a gap. So we need to fill that somehow. It's all pretty good. There's odd little dents, but you know, it's 90 odd years old. Okay, anyway, yeah, it's looking pretty good, to be honest. So I think I'll attack this area first. Can you see what I can see? Because I don't think subsequent coats will cover it. I think it'll keep bleeding through. Got to get rid of. Okay, righto, back in a bit. Hello, welcome back to Mart's garage. Did another couple of hours earlier. It's so noisy, I only do a couple of hours at a time. Jeff was helping. He did along this side here, and I did some round the back and down the other side. But it's working. We're using these sort of wire brushes like this on a grinder. Did all around the back window, along here. This was some of it was yesterday, some of it was today. And you can see there where it's like the original paint. There's a band of it here, so this should come off okay down here. I need to take the number plate off. I need to kind of strip things down, to be honest, because as usual the job is, you know, ballooned out of proportion to what it was when we started. It was just going to paint a band around the roof to be able to do the top, the filler piece for the top. We've done all round here. Jeff's done all this side here. Got a dent there, look. Don't know where we can get that out. Don't think we can. Up under the gutter. The body, the crispness of the body lines is fantastic. Yeah, looking good. So I'm going to think about maybe taking the doors off. Taking the seats out probably. That's where there was a reaction the other day, so that's been cleaned off. It'll need redoing again. Did quite well on this side here, all round the window. This is what I showed earlier, wasn't it? All round the window. Again, come tomorrow, it'll need kind of a dusting over again, because I missed a bit there. You know, it'll just get more overnight, sort of thing. Did down to the wheel arch line there. Little bit there, look. It's a little bit hard to see, and that's how far I could get down comfortably. I noticed there's some rust there, look, a little bit of rust there, so need a little repair in that area. Interesting, isn't it? The body's in pretty good condition, to be honest. Not perfect, but good. There's a little dent there, so I need to think about trying to push that out. Okay, alright, anyway, I thought I'd just give a little update on the progress. It's long, tedious, noisy, dirty work. I'm not much of a painter. I mean, purely because I haven't really ever tried to do it very often. This Thunderbird, which you can't see, you know, the red Thunderbird is one that I painted, but that was 40 plus years ago. It's amazing how good the body is, though. Yeah, it's some of the steel, especially when it's the bits where you are taking it off where, you know, it's had the paint down. It's like as good as the day it left the factory. As always, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then. Bye. Hello. I'm working on the sedan. Jeff's here. I've just been grinding away at this bit here, and you can see original paint there, and it comes off really easy, and the metal underneath it is in really good condition. But what occurred to me is that this car is a 1932 car, and it sat, you know, it must have sat in the field for years before somebody dragged it out to, you know, and then I ended up owning it. But what occurred to me was that it's never been repainted. That is the original paint, and there's no other paint on top. Never been resprayed ever till now. So I thought that was quite remarkable, really. So I thought I'd just stop for a moment and mention that and capture that, and capture these areas here where the original paint is. Amazing. And you can see there's some there as well. Quite a decent band of it. Okay, I won't say too much because we want to get cracking with all the grinding, so see you later. Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. I'm taking the doors off my sedan. I'm taking that one off, and I'm taking this one off. And I have, on that side I did get some of the screws out, but they were mangled up by the time I got them out, and I had to weld onto one of them to get the one out. On this side I struggled, so I went straight for the welding, and I went for the old welder nut on it thing, but I've adopted a different thing. Can you see the nut there? Look, I've just welded like the side of the nut to the head of the screw. I built up a blob of weld on the head of the screw and welded the nut to it, instead of trying to weld down the middle, because it's really difficult to get a weld down the middle of a nut. And what you can see there, can you see that there's a screw there and there's a screw there? That screw has been successfully removed, and that screw has been partially successfully removed because it snapped as it was coming out. And this screw, I hope, will come out. I have, see, the thing is, because it's a nut, look, you can stick something through the middle. I've got it loose and I've been spraying it with you know, penetrating oil. I'll move this now, so hopefully I'll finish welding. Instead of welding the nut on straight, I've welded it on sort of sideways, and hopefully this is going to unscrew. Need to go a bit further than that. And if at this point here you could actually go down there with a welder and get some welds in from this side, you know, if you were struggling, if you turned it 180, you can get some more welds in. Now, you don't do this method if you have a chance of getting the screws out in good condition and reusing them. This is the method you use if you've already made your mind up that the screw's not going to come out. And that one's come out okay, look. Can't save the washer off that one. So those three came out successfully, and if you like, I've only used one nut. Whereas I could have used 3 nuts trying to get one of them out if the nut didn't stick. So yeah, you know, not great welding, but it's only got to attach it. I thought that worked quite well, to be honest. Ooh, now the question is, I'll just put that in just to hold the door. I've got to undo this, haven't I? Yeah, okay, I'll take care of this. I'll just put a temporary bolt there. There's a broken one there, but I'm hoping that will come out. You know, I'm hoping that will come out. If not, I'll have to drill it. So of the 12 bolts, I only broke one, so I think that's pretty good considering the car's, you know, 92 years old, and as far as I can tell, has never been dismantled, never had the doors off. This door's not too bad, to be honest. Okay, righto. Another little session in the garage. We're preparing the body for spraying. That's why the doors are coming off. Can't shut that door, can I? And we took all the paint off around the cowl today. You can see where I welded it up there, look. That was years ago. And there's a split there, so that needs welding as well. And what I think, this needs pulling out. That piece needs pulling out a little bit, if I can, rather than trying to bump this in. But, you know, other than these little things, it's not bad at all. There's a little bit of rust there, look. This car's in remarkably good condition. Okay, right. I'm going to leave it there for now. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. I'm removing things to make it easier to paint it. Hence the fuel tank is out. Hence the doors are off. And the aluminium strips that go on there have also been removed. Now, can you see here that there are screw holes there? One there, one there, one there, one there, and so on. These came out okay, except for one. And I've just got that out, even though it broke. And I'll show you what I'm doing on the other side. I'm dealing with removal of broken self-tapping screws. So here are the screws on this side. That one there. That one came out. This one didn't come out. I've just got that out. That one came out. That one broke. And that one broke. And this one broke. And this one broke, but I got it out. So there you can see the remnants of the screw. Now, importantly, I haven't tried to clean that. I've left it rusty metal surrounding it. And here's a brand new washer. I'm going to put that there, put that over it, sort of centre it up. And I'm going to lean in with the welder as close as I can, vertically from above, and try and weld onto that bit of metal there. That is the only decent earth point, so the weld ought to sort of migrate to that, you know, it ought to aim for that. So I'll try and do that, and then what I've been doing, and you can see I've got one there and one there. One of these came from the other side, and one of them was this one, and there is another one there that actually snapped off, and I had a second go at it, but I think I can get another go at this. And this is my new method now. I put a blobber weld on it, then I weld a washer to it like that, and then I use my pin thing to go in. So let's see if we can get this one out successfully on film. Now in that case I kind of melted the washer and it just went bloop into the blob. Now that didn't happen before, but I don't think it'll matter. Not sure I did that very well. Still, we can give it a go, can't we? I was a bit compromised by the angle I could get in because of the camera. Sorry. more balls at it because I've got that on there. You can see it's got hold of the screw, look, and it's turning on the screw threads. Now the problem, as always, is that there's rust further down and you're trying to draw the screw out past all the rust. Maybe I can just do it by bending it like that. Success. And you can see the build-up of rust on the screw that we had to pull out through the hole. That's why it didn't want to come out. Okay, right. So there's another one that's come out. And you could see it was only the little stub. So there's the next one. Let's see if we can do that one. By dropping the washer over, you're less likely to weld the screw into the surrounding metal. And I'm using washers that are cheaply and freely available, nothing special or out of the ordinary. There we are. Works well, doesn't it? There we are. Okay. Right. Well, that's all of my broken screws. But the other thing is, and I did this the other day. Okay, let me turn the weld off. I take these screws out and these screws out, and I use the same technique. This time I used a nut. I just built up a blob of weld on the screw and then used the nut, and that got them out. But instead of trying to weld down through the middle of the nut, well, that was what I did the first time. I tried to weld down through the middle of a nut and it just broke straight off. So I thought, well, I'll try and weld the nut to the head of the screw. And, you know, even though it's a really dodgy weld, you can see that one there is only welded on that side, and it still grabbed hold of it enough to turn it out. These screws have a small head, but you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 screws taken out by that method, and I've just used the same method there, and there are those screws taken out. So, and these ones here had 100% success rate. When you consider there was only the tiniest little bit of metal to try and grab onto. So they're all out now. That's good, isn't it? So there you are. Screw removal. A new twist on screw removal from Mart. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, it's a little while later, and that area that you can see there is the area where I took those screws out earlier. As you can see, it's looking a lot better now. Can't really do in the corners because I've got to use a different wire brush there. But I've done up the pillar there. A couple of bits I need to redo. I hadn't got very good light, so there's a couple of bits I've missed. I can see them now that I'm looking. But not too bad. Got to do inside the corners there. All down the pillar there is looking good. Got to do in there, look. Got to do in there. This quarter was bare metal. It was bare metal. It's now flashed over with rust. So that needs a quick going over. But it will only be a quick going over. It won't be like the initial one, which was very hard work. That's how quick it goes. So we're homing in on being able to get a coat of paint on it. I've missed a complete area there, look, in the thing. But I'm not going to do any more today. Hello, this is my 32 sedan, and when I first got the car I welded up some fatigue cracks. This body wasn't very rusty, but it was heavily fatigued, you know, from driving on rough roads. One of the ones I didn't weld up is here. It's cracked there, and if I put this bar in here and just pull on that a little bit, it brings that top bit out and it aligns nicely there. So I'm going to try and weld that. I don't have TIG. I could MIG it, but it's going to leave an ugly weld bead on the surface, and if I grind it off there won't be anything left. So I'm going to try and gas it, but what I think will happen is that I'll melt this lead out of here. So I'm going to try and gas a little bit and then put a damp cloth on it, and then weld another little bit, put a damp cloth on it. It might not work. If it melts out, it melts out. I can't help it. Okay, righto, leave it with me and I'll see what I can do. I've very haphazardly arranged those clamps there with my lever to hold it in position. It's not perfect, but it's kind of okay. I'm going to try and do this job. So I'll put the camera up there and try and just get this all captured in. You don't really see much gas welding these days. Okay, there's my main weld down there and along there. I've got a little bit of metal build up on it, so I can grind it down a bit, sand it down a bit. There's where the lead comes to and has melted a little bit there, look. I'm just looking here. This piece has been leaded into here. My main piece I've welded there. There's a little hole there. Can't really weld that there. This piece is in theory removable, but it is leaded there. I suppose I could knock this down and weld it here. I'm a little bit worried that there's smoke coming out. No, it's all right, I think. Because in theory this piece is removable, but I don't know if anybody ever does. Let's get the air on and just blow a bit of air down there. Feed the fire. Yeah, I can smell wood. I need to spray some water in it, I think. Yeah, it's hot there. Very white. Can't see very well. Okay, my battery's going flat, so I'm going to call it good at that for now. And that's without the clamp on now, so that's as it is. Yeah, that's all right, I think. It'll look all right when it's kind of... I can give this a little bit of a sand here and there, just very gently. Sand that as well. That's melted out, look. Come from up there, I guess. Okay, Right. Thanks for joining me on my little gas welding job then. Take care and I'll bring you back when there's more to show.